Alright, this is the video for activity number 7. I'm just going to go through these problems and factor them in kind of two ways, grouping and kind of the quicker way. If you use a different way of factor, that's completely fine, as long as you're getting to the complete factored version, then you should be fine. But just to preface before I start, so just jumping in, starting with our first one, let's find our two. We need two numbers that multiply to 12 and add up to 7. So kind of thinking through there, I can go through 3 and 4, right? Because 3 times 4 is 12 and 3 plus 4 is 7. So I'm going to just I'm going to do the simple method, kind of plugging it in. X plus 3 and x plus 4. And then for this activity, you kind of were checking to make sure you find your answer, and you do A. Alright, moving on to our next one, which I kind of already have a start here. We need two numbers that multiply to 6 and add to 5. So going to there, I immediately think of 3 and 2, right? Because 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 plus 2 is 5. So, just going with the grouping method here, just varying it here. We can do x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6. Okay, when we're grouping this first half, we can take x out of these, so x plus 2. And taking out 3 here, because what 3 and 6 have in common, we leave x plus 2. Alright, and then we kind of just drag these two together here, so x plus 3 times x plus 2. Okay, and you should find a match, which is C here. Alright, moving on to 3, I'm going to use grouping method here. So we need two numbers that multiply to 2 times 3, so 6, and two numbers that add to 7. Alright, I'm going to kind of jump in here. It's just 1 and 6, right? Because 1 times 6 is 6, and 1 plus 6 is 7. So I'm going to do the grouping method like I said before, so 2x squared. I'm going to put my 6x here plus x plus 3. Alright, and then what I can have in common here is 2x, right? Leaving x plus 3. And out of here, I can basically just take 1, so x plus 3. So what I'm left with here is an x plus 3, and then I'm taking out these two, right? Times 2x plus 1. Alright, and then that's kind of where the match is here at E. Alright, moving on to number 4. Alright, number 4, we just jumping in. We need two numbers that multiply to 20 and add to 9. So kind of going through 5 and 4, right? So here I'm just to do the simple method. So by doing that, we have x plus 5 and x plus 4. Alright, and then you should have a matching at B. Alright, moving on to number 5. I'm going to do grouping here just because I like to do grouping when I have a leading coefficient that is not 1, because that is the only way you can use the other simple method, right, is when your leading coefficient is 1. So jumping in here, we need two numbers that multiply to 3 times 8, which is 24, and add to 14. Okay, so going through, I can get to 12 and 2. So let's split this 14x up. I am going to do 12x plus 2x plus 8. Okay, and from there, what we have in common from our 2 here is 3x. So taking 3x out, we are left with x plus 4 plus, take out, as these two common, you can take 2 out, leaving x plus 4. Alright, and then you should get x plus 4, right, and then our 2 and 3x, so 3x plus 2. which we're going to match in here at D. Alright, number 6. Okay, key sign here. We have a leading coefficient that's 1. So I'm going to use the simple method. So once I find these two numbers, then I'm just going to plug those in. So I need two numbers that multiply to 21 and add to negative 10. So I'm kind of thinking to get to 21 is 7 and 3. However, they need to add to negative 10, so by making these both negative, I get to negative 10. So from there, I get x minus 7 and x minus 3. Alright, and you're going to match here at A. Number 7. Okay, leading coefficient is not 1, so I'm going to use the grouping method here. So I need two numbers that multiply to 4, because 2 times 2, and add to 5. Okay? Then from there, I'm just going to do 1 and 4, right? Because 1 times 4 is 4, and 1 plus 4 is 5. So I'm going to split this up, or at 5x squared. Alright, I'm going to do 4x here, plus 1x, plus 2. Okay. Matching with our first two, we can take out a 2x from both, leaving us x plus 2. Then from our next one, we can take 1 out of this one, leaving x plus 2. Okay, same thing that we've done, x plus 2 times, taking out our 2x and 1, times 2x plus 1. Then we had a match there, x plus 2 is on Snapchat. Alright, number 8. Number 8 here, key sign here, we have a leading coefficient of 1, so let's not do more work if we don't need to. So I need two numbers that multiply to 24 and add to 11. Thinking through there, I get 8 and 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. 8 plus 3 is 11. So from there, I'm just going to plug those in already, because again, if the leading coefficient is 1, I can just plug those in. And like I see here, we have a matching answer of C. Alright, number 9. Same thing here, leading coefficient's 1. So let's just find those two numbers that we need, right? So 1 times negative 12, so negative 12, and then our numbers need to add to 4. So going through there, I get 6 and 2. However, I have a negative here, right? So which one can I make negative where when I add them, I get 4? Well, if I make it a negative 2, 6 plus negative 2, or just 6 minus 2 is 4. So from there, we're just going to plug those in, x plus 6 and x minus 2, right? Because it's a negative 2 over here. Then we get a matching at B for our factor. Alright, final one. Number 10, leading coefficient here, not 1, so I'm going to use the grouping method here. So from there, we get 2 times 40, which is 80, and we have a middle one of a negative 18, so we have to keep that in mind. So going from there, I'm thinking of a 10 and an 8, because 10 times 8 is 80. However, they need to add to negative 18, right? So negative 10 plus negative 8 is negative 18. So let's split that negative 18x up. So by splitting them up, I'm going to kind of do minus 10x minus 8x plus 40. Okay, looking at our first two here, so we can take 2x right out, leaving x minus 5. Then I'm going to take negative 8 out here, because I want to make this positive. So that's leaving me x minus, right, because it's 40 divided by negative 8, so negative 5. Okay, pulling those out, we have x minus 5 as our first, and 2x minus 8.